Okay, you guys, it has finally come, probably one of my most requested videos of all time. We are going to be talking about my breast lift today. The appropriate term for it is a mastopexy. I only got a breast lift, no implants. I did not have a reduction. Just simply, he took my natural breasts and lifted them into a higher position. I'm gonna be talking all the details about it today. So if you guys are excited for that, make sure to click the subscribe button if you're new here. And two things I wanna say before we get started. One, if you do not think that people should get plastic surgery or you're someone who's just here to hate on this, go ahead and exit, hit the road jack, because I'm gonna go ahead and erase those comments. I have a judgment-free comment section, and this is not a place for hate of any capacity. Two, if you get queasy at like the sight of incisions or blood or anything like that, I'm not gonna show you anything gory, but we are gonna show some pictures today. I have not yet decided if I'm gonna do my like full before and after, but I'm gonna show you guys some photos. And so if you get a little queasy, this might not be the video for you. You can go find like a plastic surgeon's website and just see simple before and afters and not so much the middle. So that is really all I wanted to say. We'll go ahead and get started with my why. Very simple. I breastfed 2 kids within 2 years. It was absolutely insane. It actually was 1 calendar year if you really think about it. And I had triple D's before I had my boys. I have always been a heavy on the side boob girl. Like I always just have a lot of side boob, but I'm broad shouldered, so I carried them well. After I had Ezra, I literally had watermelons on my chest and it was just not a good look. They shrunk up to be so cute and tiny after I finished breastfeeding, and I loved them. Now, I got pregnant 2 weeks after I finished breastfeeding, so I did not get to keep them, but I remember being like, holy cow, these are the cutest things ever. I love them so much. I'm gonna get a lift when I'm done feeding my next baby. And so once I finished feeding Roman, Sam was like, why don't you get it for your birthday gift? So that is why I decided to meet with the surgeon in January. Originally, my surgery was scheduled for March 28th, but I put myself on a like, call me if there's a cancellation list. And they actually ended up calling me twice, and I had my surgery February 8th, or was it February 6th? It was one of those 2 days. So I went in for my consult with Dr. Cortesis. I did go to his Charlotte office and I loved him almost immediately. I mean, his office staff is beyond nice. Everyone is beautiful, everyone is kind, but he was just, you could tell, he was not there to push me to do anything that I did not want to do. And that was what a lot of people said, is they were like, my doctor told me I couldn't get just a lift, so I got a lift and implants. Or, I mean, the amount of stories that I heard of people who were like, oh, my doctor told me that just a lift was not an option was insane, because he had zero concern with pushing me to do something I didn't want to do. He was like, do you want this? Do you want this? Or do you want this? And I said, I want a lift. And he was like, great, let's do a lift then. And I just felt so at ease with him. So I will link his website in the description bar in the comment section below. There are multiple doctors there, but Dr. Cortesis was actually the doctor that I went to, and he is phenomenal. In fact, here's a picture of him. This is included in my folder. He was voted the best plastic surgeon in America. It says each doctor has been peer nominated and selected by the nation's leading providers of information on top doctors. Right here, Charlotte is Bill Cortesis, and he actually introduced himself as Bill. He didn't say Dr. Bill. He didn't say Dr. Cortesis. He was like, I'm Bill. It's very nice to meet you. So he is a highly rated dude. Lead up to my surgery was very important. Actually, that's why I went to the consult. I wasn't even sure if I was gonna book. The things that sold me on it was that he told me I couldn't lift anything heavy for a week. And that was very important because I have little kids. I was like, if this is gonna be a 6-week process, I can't do it. He also told me I could not submerge my incisions in water for 4 weeks, and then that was pretty much it. So right off the gate, I was like, yes. Little to no downtime, and that was what sold me on it. But also there was a ton of prep work. So I am going to be 29 next Wednesday. My mom was in her early 50s when she got her lift done by him. She was actually who recommended him to me. She had to get an EKG. She had to get a mammogram, I believe. She also had to get a decent amount of blood work done. At the time, COVID was still going on, so she had to get a COVID test. For me, I literally was just able to go to a LabCorp, get some blood work done, and I was on my way. They sent it straight to them, and that was it. It was so, so simple. Now, I will say, insurance was like, absolutely not. We're not covering her surgery. And I will talk a little bit about payment in a minute, but what insurance did cover was all of my blood work and my medications that they called in for me. I was actually very surprised. So I did not want to go to my doctor. I have had a lot of issues with him. I am actually in the process on a waiting list to get a new doctor. So I was like, I don't want to go see my doctor. I don't trust him to get that blood work done and sent off. It's just a whole thing. So I went to LabCorp and my insurance covered 100% of that bill. I did get an itemized bill. It would have been $125 for all of the tests that they did call for, and I ended up paying $0 for those. So they just needed a couple things, but they came in within 24 hours, sent them straight to Dr. Cortez's, and I was on my way. A couple days before surgery, you do usually have a phone consult with him 3 weeks before surgery, but because I got moved up, I only had mine a couple days. They called me in a couple things. So they called me in Zofran, they called me in a scopolamine patch, which helps with nausea that goes behind your ear. They called me in tramadol, which actually was great because I have never taken tramadol and I usually don't like heavy narcotics, and that was actually a lot simpler and easier on my body. They called me in a stool softener, and then they called me in Hibiclens, which is like what you wash your body in the morning of surgery. That ended up being something that was great because now whenever I take my tape off for my incisions, I'm able to still use that as an antiseptic cleaner, I believe is what it's fully called, and it's just really great to wash things with. So I use that on my incisions even now that, I mean, even though they're healed. So that has been something that I've stuck with. And I believe all but like $4 or something was what was covered when it came to my medication and the wash. So again, insurance did cover all of my medications and the blood work, but they did not cover the surgery itself. And I say that because there are people who have messaged me and told me their insurance did cover it. So here's where we're gonna get into the little nitty gritty of it. So I don't think I'm gonna share my true before and after photos because the idea of putting like my actual chest on the internet is just too much for me. It's just not my vibe. No. But I will link Dr. Cortez's website down in the description bar. You can see all of the before and after photos. What I am cool with showing you is my before and after in clothing, because I feel like at the end of the day, that's where you're really gonna see it. You can see the biggest difference, but what you can't see is my nipple placement. So with a lift, y'all, my nipples literally pointed to my toes. They were at the very, very bottom of my boobs. It was not a good look. They pointed directly down. It was not cute. Now they are literally right here. This is where my nipples are, and they point forward. Actually, they kind of point up, which I love. It is such a odd thing to say, but like I really like the look of them. They literally pointed to the ground, and now they're like up and perky, and it is amazing. So you do have to have pretty decent amount of incisions. I know that's what scares a lot of people. It was not bad, you guys. They cut around the nipple, right down, like basically they cut around the nipple, down, and then across here. I did have some mild burning at the incision site when I first woke up from surgery, and I remember the nurse was like, listen to me, it is going to go away by the end of the day. And sure enough, by the time I got home, it was gone completely. The nurses and staff after surgery were absolutely incredible. When I was like, I have to use the bathroom, they immediately took me to the bathroom. They were feeding me applesauce because I was feeling a little bit nauseous. They were so incredible. And that was just the one thing I remember. I just kept going, oh, these incisions burn. My incisions burn. And they were like, I promise you, they are going to go away. We're not just telling you this. It will get better. So there is a decent amount of scarring. However, 3 weeks post-op, I ended up taking my tape off. I had a phone post-op with the nurse practitioner, and so I fully took my tape off, ended up trimming my sutures myself because I am out of state. He is in Charlotte. I remember I was really, really nervous. So I was like, Mom, I need you to come do these sutures for me. Like, I cannot do this. And when I took the tape off, she was like, your incisions are invisible. And he warned me a lot. He was like, you have the kind of skin that's going to scar really red. You guys, you cannot see them. Like, you straight up cannot see my incisions. And I ended up actually having a incision across part of my nipple. And I remember seeing that and being like, oh my God, there's literally no way no one's gonna notice that. And no one being like literally me and my husband. It's not that big of a deal. But I just thought that's a huge cut. Like, how is that not gonna be obvious? I now am almost positive that it was on this side, but it might've been on this side. I don't know. You cannot see it. It's gone completely. My scars look pristine because they have had me change my tape 1 week out from surgery every week since surgery happened. I will continue to do that until I meet with Dr. Cortez over just like a FaceTime type call at my 7-week post-op. And then I don't have to tape anymore. The longer you wear it, the better your incisions look. And I physically don't know how they can look even better than they do right now. They are invisible. It looks so good. I did have a little bit of bruising at the very bottom. It was very yellow, nothing super crazy. But I felt like overall, just the look of my boobs, they didn't look like I had surgery for very long. It was very quick until I felt like I was really looking healed. Surgery thoughts were so easy. I cannot say enough good things about the people there. Everyone, like I said, was so beautiful. Like I walked in and I was like, you are all gorgeous. They were so nice. Even the anesthesiologist, he came in and I was like, you're beautiful and you're so sweet. Like he came in and carried my stuff. They were so prompt. They told me to get there at 10 and that my surgery would be at 11. I got there at 10. I was on the operating table at like 10:31. I remember looking at the clock, 10:31, and I was ready to go because they were running a little bit ahead. They also let me keep my leggings on. When I walked into the OR, they just walked me right in. Super nice. It was very luxurious, very bougie. They hooked me up to these like little things on my legs. I think that they said were going to help with circulation. The anesthesiologist went ahead and did my IV, and I was out like a light. I don't remember anything. And then I just woke up and my husband was beside me and all these beautiful nurses were feeding me applesauce. And I was like, oh, and that was it. I had to keep a bra on for 24 hours. Like I couldn't shower for 24 hours. The next morning I was able to shower. I had to leave the tape on, and I have had to wear a bra of some kind, whether it's the surgical bra they gave me, or a bra that I've purchased myself that does not have underwire full time. That will be until my 7-week or 6-week post-op with him. You wear a bra full time. Again, no underwire, but you are just like 100%, you're even sleeping in it. You only can take it off to shower, and that is it. So I have still had to wear a bra, but it ain't been bad because I can wear like bralette tops and stuff like that. Number one question I got was about cost. So here's really the cost breakdown. I want to be very clear here and say I do not believe that this is really a good ballpark. I'm only sharing this because I got a lot of questions about it. But it depends on what state you live in. It depends on the surgeon you go to. It depends on if insurance covers anything. There was a girl who messaged me and said it was like thousands more than what I'm actually about to share with you to get hers done. I think she said she lived in California. Thousands more for a simple lift. She said it was actually cheaper, ended up being cheaper than mine, to fly out of state, pay a surgeon, stay in a hotel for a week, and then fly home. That entire thing was cheaper than to get it done in the state that she lived in. So please understand, I don't even really think this is an estimate. I'm just sharing it because I know I'm gonna get this question and I've had it a lot. So I had to pay a $250, I believe is what it was, fee to book the appointment with him. If I would not have decided to book a surgery with him, that would have been all I owed, but I did have to pay that to go sit down and have a discussion with him. When I booked the surgery, I was required to pay, I can't remember if it was 20 or 25%, but the $250 did apply to that. But I was required to pay a certain percentage of the surgery that day to get my name on the books for surgery. In total, the cost for my surgery was $9,283. It was $7,000 to have the procedure. It was $1,183 for the anesthesia, and it was $1,100 for the facility fee. Again, insurance was like, absolutely no, we're not covering her breast lift. There are people who have had it fully covered. My mom, when she got hers done, I can only assume it's because hers was done before he was voted like one of the top doctors in the nation. My mom's was thousands cheaper. So it makes me anxious to even share this number. I don't like talking about money. I don't like sharing it. But that is what I had to pay in total. And 100% of it did have to be paid before I had surgery. So again, $250 to talk to him. I went in and talked to this lovely lady. She was so nice, not pushy at all. And she said, this is the price of your entire surgery. And she waited. I could have left, gone home, talked to Sam about it, called later and booked. It would have been totally fine. She waited to see. She was not going to push me into anything. But because I said, yes, I want to go ahead and book, I had to pay. I believe it ended up like it was just a flat $2,000 I paid that day. And then she told me, she was like, the remaining $72.83 is due at your pre-op appointment. So 3 weeks before surgery, but ended up, again, because I was moved up on a like, call me if there's a cancellation list, I owed mine like a couple days before surgery. So yeah, I just want to say that. Like, I don't know if this is a ballpark, but that is how much I paid. And it was worth every penny. My post-op thoughts now, I am so happy with it. I'm going to go 100% braless when I can. I am still having to wear like bralettes or things that, you know, have a built-in bra that, again, no underwire until I see Dr. Cortazis in a couple weeks. And then I'm gonna go 100% braless. There actually have been studies done that if you go braless, your boobs are going to be stronger and perkier. So that is not negative to my surgery. It's not gonna make them super like weighted down. I'm not gonna need another lift. That actually is going to work in my favor. So I am planning to go essentially braless, which is why I've been all about the nipple covers lately. I am not wearing a bra right now. This has like a little built-in top to it. So this is just how they look. I do like that mine don't look fake. I did not want that like super pushed up together cleavage look. If you wanted that, you probably would have to go with implants or it would just depend on your boobs. I love that there's like no cleavage. It's just this. And if I take off my top, this is where my boobs are. If I put a bra on, this is where my boobs are. This is what we have. It's so nice. But I will say, if y'all follow Avery Woods on TikTok, she recently got I believe it's just a lift. Her boobs don't look fake. They look like just a lift. She said in a recent TikTok that hers were completely, like she had no feeling in her nipples. Yeah, I wish. I am like hypersensitive, not in a painful way, but just like, I always have to wear nipple covers. They're always just pointy. And I just feel like the moment water hits them, my nipples are like hard. And so that is the only thing is I feel like my nipples are hypersensitive. My mom agrees. She's like, no, mine are super hypersensitive. But again, not in a painful way, just in a like, they're always pointy kind of way. I really hope that this video helped. It was a lot to go through. If there was something that I did not answer, please leave the question in the comment section below. Don't DM it on Instagram because someone else may have that same question. So I just want to make sure I answer it and everyone sees. But it was the best decision ever. Getting it done at 28, almost 29 was such a good choice because now I can just go braless and be done with it. And I'm done having babies. Like I don't have fallopian tubes anymore. I got a question about that too. Someone was like, so since you got a lift, are you done having babies? I ain't got no fallopian tubes. So yes, I'm done with having kids. So it's just been nice. It feels kind of like freeing. And like I told Sam, it's not like I walked around and dogged on myself. I was like, oh, I just hate my saggy boobs. Like, it was something I would notice occasionally, and now I'm straight up feeling myself with these things. I'm like, look at how incredible and perky they are. Like my nipples are just so perky, and they used to point to my freaking feet. So I am so happy with this decision, and I hope that if you guys are on the fence, this maybe helped you a little bit. Again, just book an appointment, a consult with your local plastic surgeon and just meet with them. See what they have to say, see what the cost breakdown is, and then just decide from there. But it has been the best decision of my life because it's just so freeing. No more bras. Thank y'all so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I know it was a highly requested one, but again, any questions, just leave them in the comment section. I love you guys so freaking much, and I'll see you in my next video. Mwah.